What if I told you that I am standing in my garage? Well, my garage now turned into my dream walk-in closet that my husband did from scratch all by himself and nearly lost a finger. But we'll save that story for the rest of the video. If you're interested in this transformation, keep on watching. This is the garage. This is where part of it is going to be my glam studio, and the other part is going to be the walk-in closet that will come up from our bedroom. So I think the walk-in closet will probably be to where the window is, all the way out here, and then my studio somewhere to where that beam is. I don't need that much of space, but a good square footage to do what I gotta do. So now we're here in April 2018. All the stuff has been removed. This was the walkthrough right before we purchased the house. There was still a few items that they needed to remove, but all in all, it gave us a good visual of the space, because when we first looked at it, there was still stuff in there, but we were able to still get a good enough visual of how we wanted to use this space. And we always knew that we weren't going to use it as a garage. And it also looked like in the history of this home, there was a prior room in this space, just judging by the flooring that they had. And there was like a closet in the back. I'm not sure if you noticed it, but this was when we were ready to close and very excited on how we were going to use this space. So this was November 2018. My husband had converted this middle space into my glam studio. This is where I took my clients for makeup. And then it, over the years, kind of transformed until we cleaned everything out when I was making my office space, and he evicted me out of the space because he had plans to convert this into a bigger walk-in closet. I have to admit, I really didn't see the vision at that point in time, but he did. And I am so glad that he had this vision to make this closet bigger. As you can see, this is our walk-in closet. And this is all still part of that same garage you saw in the beginning of the video. We split it in 3 parts. But as you can see, back in 2025, nothing was fitting in this closet, and we definitely had to do something about it. All right, guys. It is phase 2. I need to clear out this closet, and there's a lot of stuff. My husband has this side of the closet. I have this side of the closet, and nothing fits. Like, nothing is fitting anymore. Hold on. Let's go over here. It is like what's actually happening. I have a lot of clothes that does not fit anywhere, which is a good time for me to go through everything to see what I wear, what I don't wear, what I'm not fitting into, which might be a lot right now that I don't fit into, being that I've gained some weight. Shoes, definitely will be selling shoes. I'll probably sell this on like Poshmark or Mercari. So hopefully I'll get some money out of this, because mama needs some shoes, and mama needs some money. So let's see what we don't keep. I have to say, this part was super tedious, and I underestimated how much stuff I had, how much I had to do. This easily took a few days to take everything out of the closet and also organize it, and then also move out everything from that bottom corner of my room. Now, what I didn't know at the time, because my husband told me clear out the space, what I didn't realize at the time was that he was going to set up a closet downstairs. I don't know if we just got our wires crossed or whatever, but I did not realize that at that point in time that that's what we were doing. So I thought I was just going to take my clothes out of the closet and just put it in bins, and then literally take outfits out of bins as needed. His plan was to use this same closet setup that we had upstairs and put it downstairs. I had no idea that was the plan, but it actually worked out really well, and I did not have to live out of bins, but I did not know that at that point in time. So I went hunting for some bins over at Costco, which you're about to see right now. Mission accomplished. Although he had plans for the closet, I decided to utilize these bins anyway and thought that I can use them for what I needed to organize. So, I just bought these bins, went to Costco, got them. This is my logic, right? I'm going to use them to put away the stuff for the closet while my husband has to clear out everything from that space. So all the clothes has to come down. Obviously, I can't just have it laying on my bed, but I figured we can classify everything. I could put shoes in here. I could put the clothes, anything that I'm probably going to wear more often within the next few weeks, I'll leave on top. Things I don't use so much, I'll put on the bottom. But like I said, I'll classify. We have 8 bins. I should get like at least 6 of them, but we'll split it. So I'll give them 4. I'll take 4. I also didn't realize how many shoes I had. I'm the one who says I don't have a lot of shoes, but you can see that that might not be the case. But I am getting rid of a few, so that means that I'll have space for others. So I would say the hardest part for me in this project was really trying to figure out what to do with all my stuff. Like I said, this was a lot like moving. There was just so much to go through. And it did give me an opportunity to throw some things out, but at the same time, it's just like, holy cow, where did all of this stuff come from? It was a little bit overwhelming, to be quite honest. But once we were able to clear everything out, my husband took down the closet system. And again, I did not realize this was his plan, but it was a genius plan. He just did a makeshift closet in our bedroom that was able to function for us while he was making this other closet. And thank God he did it this way, because at this point in time, I did not realize that this closet was going to take him about 3 months to complete. And I am not mad at it, because he actually works on these projects coming home from work. So imagine having a full 9 to 5, coming home and having to work on a physical project. Like, I felt bad that he would have to come home and literally slip into his clothes and start working right away, sometimes working up until midnight. But this was a really clever solution, and I'm glad that he has the mind for these things, because God knows I don't. So this is the exciting part, watching the wall come down, and credit to him, because I made him record a lot of the things. Since that particular day, I actually had a makeup job for a wedding. Thanks, hubby, for getting the footage of bringing down the wall. But again, we're going back to square one. Remember that when we bought this house, this was all one space. We put that wall up in order to split it into 3 so that we could have the walk-in closet and so that we could have my studio so that I can take makeup clients in that space. Now, this space served us for a good 7 years, so we did get good use out of splitting it in 3. And now that our dynamic has changed, my kids, my older 2 kids, have basically moved out of the house. We have other spaces that we can repurpose. And if you've been following me, you have seen probably some of the transformations we've made in the house since my older 2 kids moved out. But if you haven't, please feel free to check out those videos after this one. You will see how we've been transforming each and every space. Now here you can see the space almost restored to its original state, minus taking off the wall that separates the garage piece. But now the floors have come up, the wall has come down, and now the real work really begins for him. All right, let's go through this. It looks a little bit insane, but we have light. Hubby has been hard at work with everything. Let's go in here. So he hired someone to come and do the lights, which I'm glad, the electrical work, because that's something that I'd rather be really safe about. There's just too much going on. I don't want him getting hurt, God forbid. But so far, this is it. He's in the plastering stage, and he took out all the base molding. Go into this corner. So that side over there is gonna be his entire corner. From like after the window, this whole entire corner is gonna be his. And this is the entrance. And this entire side will be mine. From the window all the way here. Wise man, because I have a lot of stuff. Now we can't get rid of this because the vents or whatever is there. So unfortunately, that's something that has to stay there. So it will limit this, the height of this space, but we'll make it work. It'll still look nice. Super excited. He's working hard. Here he started to plaster all the holes from all the electrical work. I always feel bad when he has to do the sanding part of the job because it is very labor intensive, and you know, he's putting in a lot of time doing this after work, and then his back starts to hurt, and there's not much I can do. He's also a little bit picky about getting help. I don't know if it's just from me or just in general, but he likes to work alone. But once it gets to the point where he's painting, it's kind of smooth sailing from there. So he started priming, and then he told me to go get some paint. So that was my little fun project, to actually pick out what paint I wanted to pick out for this space. We had gray before, but now I'm thinking something else. Hello, we are headed to Home Depot. We're gonna go pick out paint. Yes, I did my hair, lashes, and makeup because why not? But yeah, we're picking out paint for the closet, so we're on our way. It's coming together, it's coming together. But let's go. So my go-to place for paint usually is Home Depot. That's pretty much where I've gotten all my paint in the past. We usually use Behr. And I have to say that, I mean, picking out paint can be overwhelming. I wanted something neutral. I'm thinking maybe something along the cream lines because we had gray before. But nothing that I was looking at was calling out to me. There was nothing that was really what I wanted. I don't know. Sometimes you have something in your head and it just doesn't pan out that way. So I decided this wasn't it. And I went and got myself coffee, of course, and headed over to Benjamin Moore because they seem to have kind of the selection that I'm looking for. So here I was looking for paint. And if you guys know, I've painted my house Balboa Mist for the most part. It's like a grayish type of color. So I wanted something a little bit different, a little bit cream to kind of contrast with the white. So these are the swatches that I was really leaning towards. So I believe that the one that I had there, I was comparing it to Balboa Mist. I was trying to play around with the grayish and with the cream colors. And I just kept on leaning more towards like a beigey type of color. Is beigey a word? I'm making it a word. So these are like the swatches that I was really considering. If you look closely, the one on the middle right, that is the color that most of my home is currently. But the more I looked at it, the more I was really feeling the beige color, and I showed it to my husband and he was agreeing with me as well. So the color we ended up agreeing on is Feathered Down, which was the one in the middle of the first column of swatches that I had. With that, I've completed my part and now it's back on hubby. Now again, I really had little knowledge of what he was planning for this closet. Of course, he would run things by me here and there to just kind of make sure that I was aligned. Like he would show me like certain drawers and things like that because we were going to put an island in the middle of the walk-in closet, which I was really excited about. But there were only 2 other drawers that he purchased aside from the island, and the rest, it was him building it out himself. This is me acting like I'm really helping. So I was taking care of the garbage even though he was building everything out himself. I wanted to feel useful at some point and make it seem like, yeah, I contributed to this. But honestly, it really was all him. This part I really appreciated, that he could at least sit down, watch TV, relax, and still build this out rather than just killing himself in the closet, sanding, painting, and doing all the things. But this was the drawer that he was putting together that was going to go on both sides of our closet. Oh, I love this. watches or bracelets. This is really cool. Not sure what this is for. Maybe for watches, long ways. Or maybe bracelets. Yeah. I don't know. I gotta find out what this is for. Has like a curved, I don't know what. This is really cool. I like this drawer. This doesn't come all the way out, so I don't know what can come back here. Like it just goes up to there, but we'll figure that out. I love the see-through glass and how it's tinted. That's really cool. The gold hardware I love. You know I love gold. Let's go deeper. Really cool. Now comes the fun part where he is starting to build out the closet. I feel like I was so in the dark with this project because in previous projects I was heavily involved, whether I was commenting on something or just asking him a lot of questions. And this time around, I didn't ask as much. When he showed me these sketches, I was completely impressed at every single detail. Like he designed this himself. He is a little bit of an artist, so he does have an eye for it, but down to the measurements, the design, like you can see how much thought he put into this. I was absolutely amazed. Now, when he started to build out the closet, I did not know that he wasn't going to use closet systems, like pre-made closet systems. And here he was building this out with panels that he bought, and he basically knew how he was going to lay them out. He built the bases to give it a custom look, and then he ordered white panels from Home Depot to build this out. Now, unfortunately, the white panels that he had ordered from Home Depot, they were pretty ruined. They did not look good. He ended up having to return it and then buy these brown ones, which kind of made him work a little bit more because now, since they were brown, he was going to have to paint them. So that was a little bit of a hiccup, but not a big deal. It just, cost him more time because he didn't anticipate having to paint them, and now he would have to. Now, despite the fact that he spent a little bit more money, more than he probably anticipated, because now he also had to paint them, and these were probably a little bit better than the other panels that he had bought, he, all in all, saved himself a lot of money. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever priced out closet systems, but they can run you a few $1,000s, especially if you really like the IKEA ones. They are beautiful. I think it's the PAX one, but they can run you thousands of dollars. It depends on what your project looks like, how much you're going to need. So I can't even imagine what this really would have cost if he would have bought it pre-made. But I love all of the details and how he thought of everything, including lights that he had installed inside the closet, which I didn't realize were going to also be motion censored lights. He had planned how he was going to put the shelves for the shoes, for my purses. He really just thought of everything. Now, I will say this. I did send them some inspo pic like months before he started this project, so he could have an idea of maybe what I needed, at least for my side. So, women, we have stuff. We got purses, we have shoes. So I just gave him the inspo pic and he just ran with it, and he did what he thought was going to work best. And he really, really outdid himself in this project. And I'm sorry if I'm coming off as braggy, but I was just completely, I still tell him to this day, like, you outdid yourself. This was probably one of the best projects he's ever worked on, beginning to end, because he conceptualized it and he brought it to life. Guys, now I will talk about what happened with his finger. Well, first of all, let me just highlight the floor, and you can see the base that he had put down for the island. This floor, before I get into the other story, by the way, this floor we had bought at Floor & Decor because it was the floor that we were using in our downstairs living area, and we had a lot left over. It was the Duralux, it's waterproof vinyl, and we had more, so we didn't have to spend extra on it, and it was a perfect addition to this space. It looked really great, and I absolutely loved it. This was actually one of those sales that they had of, like, I guess they were discontinuing the floors, but we had enough so that we can put it down and have, you know, some to spare just in case something went wrong. Okay, guys, back to the story. So my husband, you know, as the days got nicer outside, remember he started this off in March, but now in April, the days were getting nicer. He was able to work outside, and this particular day, he was cutting these pieces. I don't remember if it was for the base or what. Yeah, it was for the base of the closet. And I had caught him, you know, like I filmed him cutting it. I remember watching him cut it, and I got a little bit nervous, but I didn't want to point it out. I just prayed, you know, for him instead. And I said, God, you know, guide him and help him out here. Well, that day I was doing a lash removal for one of my friend's daughters, and she comes over. I just had started working on her, and all of a sudden, Julian, my youngest, comes upstairs and says, Papi wants you to come downstairs real quick. And I'm looking at him like, okay, but I just started doing this lash removal. And he goes back downstairs to tell his father, and all of a sudden, Julian comes back upstairs and says, well, Papi's going to the emergency room. I jumped up so fast and ran downstairs. The fine blood splattered everywhere, and him holding his finger with a towel that was bloody. Guys, I cannot tell you how nerve-wracking that was for me, and just seeing him in pain, like, literally killed me. Thank God he was okay. He did take a little bit off the tip of his middle finger with a little bit of bone and nail, but he is recovering well. You would not believe that his work ethic is so strong that the following day he was back at it, cutting again with the table saw. I cannot even, guys. Like, I have to be quite honest. If it were me, I would have given up on the entire project and found someone to hire to finish it. But he really powered through. He continued to paint. He continued to cut the pieces that he needed so that he could finish framing out the closet. As you can see, now he's testing out the lights that are motion sensors. So what you see on the ceiling are the little motion sensors. So now, like, if you pass by in the closet, those lights automatically go on without me having to hit the switch. But we also have additional lights that you can switch on with a light switch. Okay, so here's the progress so far. Hubby has done one coat of paint. All right, and he still needs to do the second. We still haven't put in the drawers because he's still painting. Then he's gonna have to touch up the inside. But as you can see, he's done one coat of paint. He did primer and paint. So this is gonna be my area. This is all gonna be my area. I'm very excited. Thinking of putting a bench there so we have like a little seating area. This is his side. So yeah, one coat of paint, a second one to go, and then touching up the walls on the inside, and then he puts in the rods and it is go time. I'm very excited. Now, along with these shelves, we had to start picking out the hardware. We had decided, like I said, on gold. We wanted gold bars where the hangers were going to go because we also wanted to match it with the gold hardware that those drawers had. And we also wanted to get nice hangers. Now, if you guys are interested, I am going to do a part 2 to this video because this video is a little bit long already. And I want to do that video on how we organized the closet. But you know for sure that if we were redoing an entire closet and making it look fancy, that we were not going to put plastic hangers on these bars. And I tell you, it makes all the difference. Expensive, but it makes all the difference. Oh my God, there was another detail that he did that I absolutely loved, and I was practically screaming when he did it. It's like the little things, I tell you. It's the little things. He ended up putting one of those gold bars that you can extend out to hang your shirt, like if you're steaming it or if you're maybe putting out your clothes for the next day and you want to hang it. It is so cute. I'm going to show you guys in a little bit which one I'm talking about. But every single day I came into this closet, there was progress. So now you can see the lights. You can see the gold bars that he put up. I will link what we bought in the description box because a lot of the things that we bought were from Amazon. So these gold bars, I believe, was from Amazon. I got to tell you, after he put it up, I was the one who chose the bars and I thought it would look a little bit different, but you really can't tell once they're up. But I think I would have gone for the shiny gold instead of the matte gold. But either way, it still looks great. Look at how everything is coming along. Look at the drawers. Like once he put all of this in, I was completely like, whoa, like this is really outstanding. Looks really good.
I bought this. I don't know if you want me to put this.
Is that to like take out the yeah, boy? But I'm just saying it doesn't. You guys, he is so over me. It's not even funny. But yes, this was a nice little surprise. There were lights inside of the drawers that he bought. And they change colors. Of course, you know that I'm going to want me some pink or purple. It does change the lights at the same time. So his unit will change to the same color that my unit is. We have 2 different remotes, but for some reason, it's just changing both of them at the same time. But no biggie. I absolutely love it. It looks amazing. I will say that the more details that were added, the more it just seemed like an unrecognizable space because I could not believe that this was my walk-in closet. Here he is putting the finishing touches on the island. I was absolutely obsessed with this island. Like, I love the his and hers section. I love the drawers. This is all one unit. Again, we'll list that in the description box below. But it looks absolutely amazing. Gives us tons of storage, which we really needed. You guys know how I feel about storage. So all these drawers will be utilized. As I mentioned previously, I loved how he thought about everything, down to even the mirror that he selected for my side. He bought me this mirror that actually lights up when you plug it in and it changes colors, which is pretty amazing when I am putting my makeup. Now I don't have to go all the way upstairs to my glam studio to put on my makeup. I can do it right here in the closet and get ready just all together in one space. I also love how this gold mirror just goes with all of the hardware. Everything just goes together very nicely, and it really just elevates the space that much more. As he was wrapping up this project, I was getting more and more excited. I started to look up what I wanted to do to organize it, how I wanted to do my shoes, how I wanted to put together my accessories, my clothes. So this was him just putting everything now in place and getting ready for the final reveal. So are you guys ready for this? Because I certainly am. You guys know me to be a little dramatic. But here it is, the final reveal of my dream closet. Every detail from the layout to the custom touches is absolutely more than I could ever imagine. And it's all thanks to my husband. He's the one who conceptualized it, designed it, and brought it to life with his own hands. I'm honestly in awe of the love, time, and talent that he poured into this space. If you're impressed too, please show him some love in the comments. He truly deserves it. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe because in my next video, I'll be walking you through how I organize this closet. And from my current subscribers, I appreciate each and every one of you for showing up, commenting, and always showing some love. I really appreciate all of you. Thank you for being here. I cannot wait to continue to show you all the different spaces I've been transforming in my home. But I have to tell you that by far, this has got to be my favorite. So I hope you loved it. Have a great one. Have a blessed day, everyone. Remember that each and every day is a blessing. Let's not take it for granted. All right, guys. See you in the next one.